Well, the European Property Federation is the European equivalent of the Raad voor Onroerende Zaken. It is to keep it simple, the lobby, why not use that excellent word, for the property ownership, investment, and development industry in Europe. About 1.1 trillion euros of private property assets represented, of all different kinds. It's very broad, not much, almost no owner-occupier representation, but everything from the small housing landlord to shopping centers to property companies and development companies of all sizes, and the property companies of the institutional investors, shopping centers, the whole deal.
What's your goal in your lobby?
Well, again, at national level, such a lobby intervenes concerning all national law that affects the sector. And it's no different at European level, the only fundamental difference being that the European Union is not competent to deal in all real estate relevant questions. For instance, housing policy is not even mentioned in the treaties, which means that under the principle of conferral, the European Union has no right to get involved in housing policy, even if the European Parliament, the Council of Ministers, everybody together wants to. They'd have to change the treaty. Real estate is often a very local specific thing, as I think I'm translating from the Dutch there actually, which should not be regulated at European level. But having said that, naturally, there are a whole pile of things at European level that are very important. All of the environmental and energy efficiency stuff that we have seen today, and above all, the fact that the real estate industry has been for 15 years. Even the crisis has not stopped this acceleration for long. It is a cross-border investment industry. You have European global players who want to operate in all over the Union, and we need laws, European laws, that facilitate that cross-border real estate investment. So we're obviously active in that when it comes at us, but we sometimes have to provoke it, such as our attempts to get, for instance, legislation facilitating the business of REITs, of real estate investment trusts, as they operate cross-border.
Is it not easier than to operate on the national level instead of on a European level?
Easier. Yes, it's always easier. It's easier to operate in your own village, but sometimes in the village next door there are opportunities which you just can't resist. God only knows, there must be all sorts of terrible things about the Irish market at the moment and having to deal with all sorts of people that you don't really understand very well. It's not your culture, but hey, things are selling at less than 50% of their value a couple of years ago, so, there are things to be done. And I would say that some Irish property companies are still alive and kicking because they were wise enough to invest in continental Europe at the right time, and they've got that to live off of now. So,
Do you think the treaty will be changed? So that there could be laws implanted in the European Union?
No, but wait, the treaty does allow all sorts of initiatives that enable and facilitate the treaty. The four freedoms, one of which is free circulation of capital. The treaty imposes that there be no obstacles to cross-border real estate investment. We've already got that, and there's all sorts of laws that we deal in all the time that are linked to that, and capital movement and the whole thing. You don't need a treaty change for that. I used the concept of housing policy, and what I meant by that was that, for instance, rent control. That's exactly the kind of thing which few people would conceive of at European level. There are countries like I operate in Belgium. The Belgian state wouldn't deal with that kind of thing. The Belgian state doesn't have a housing minister. The Flemish government has a housing minister. The Walloon government, that kind of thing. And so imagine, you would never want to be doing this kind of thing at an EU level.